Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today I am back with another part of my series where I'm building tiny homes based on all of the zodiac signs, and I'm doing them in order based on which one we are currently in. So today we're tackling the Cancer tiny home. Cancer is a zodiac sign that falls between June 21st and July 22nd. So we are right in the middle of it right now. So happy birthday to anyone who is a Cancer. And as my disclaimer goes for every single one of these builds, this is just based on the general characteristics that are stereotypically part of being a Cancer or part of being whichever zodiac sign that I'm doing. By no means does this represent every single person. I understand completely. I didn't really relate to my own zodiac sign. It's just a really fun way to get a concept for a build, a personality type, and like careers and interests and colors. And it just allows me to decorate in a little bit of a different way, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And it seems like you all are enjoying it as well. Speaking of which, all of the things that I include in these builds are a combination of me doing my own research online as well as comments that I've gotten on previous builds from y'all giving me some ideas of things you would or would not like to see in the zodiac sign that is coming up. And with that being said, the next zodiac sign we'll be tackling is Leo, and that will be our final one of the series, which is absolutely wild. We've been doing this for a year now. So if you have any suggestions on what you would or would not like to see when we tackle Leo next month, please leave those in the comments down below. I want to make sure our last one is great. I actually was originally supposed to start with Leo last year, and it was going to be the very first one. I hadn't even announced I was doing this series, and I just wasn't liking how it came out. So now it's going to be the last one, so hopefully it will come out good because we've had lots of practice now. But anyway, we're not talking about Leo today. We are talking about Cancer. So let me read what I wrote down about Cancer. So I wrote down the colors they like, their interests and their likes and strengths and all of that kind of stuff. I basically took notes on all of the things that I thought would be important to include. So the color that's mostly associated with Cancer is white. I also wrote down that they like art, home-based hobbies, being near the water, loved ones, good food with friends, and their strengths are they're tenacious, highly imaginative, loyal, emotional, sympathetic, and persuasive. One thing that I thought was very interesting that I heard from a lot of y'all that was that you wanted me to make sure that this was not aquatic themed, had plenty of like cozy things like for self-care and like meditation and journaling and all of that kind of stuff, and that this was not for a mom. So those were the things I wrote down, which when I was looking through my research, those weren't things I was coming up with anyway. I did, however, decide that this sim has a pet and lots of plants. So they are a pet and plant parent, which I thought was so much cuter anyway. I liked the idea of that, and I wasn't really making any of these tiny houses for more than one sim anyway, so it didn't really make sense for this sim to have children. So that's what I did. I also went for more of a modern vibe that has like some boho touches to it, which I thought looked really nice. And I also just copied and pasted some paragraphs that I read about general characteristics of people or sims who fall into the zodiac sign of Cancer. So I wrote down that they usually perform better when left to work independently and demonstrate loyalty to their employer with a strong focus on the task at hand. And some well-suited careers include nursing, housekeeping, gardening, politics, and interior decorating. I definitely kind of leaned heavy on the gardening for this build. I put a bunch of plant pots outside, and I also feel like interior design might have been something they enjoyed, but that might just be me being happy with how the interior of this home came out. But I also wrote down that they are guided by their emotions and can have difficulty fitting into the world around them. They're ruled by the moon, and their inner mysteries are deepened by the phases of the lunar cycle. So I wrote down like so many different things, like they're a cardinal water sign represented by the crab. And I was really hoping I could have something that was like crab themed in this house. I feel like I did that with a couple of the zodiac signs that have a specific animal associated with them, but we don't really have any items like that other than a menu from Cats and Dogs, I'm pretty sure. So I didn't add anything for that little idea. But just looking through some of the other notes I wrote down which is mostly that they like to stay home. They like to create cozy, safe spaces that serve as their personal sanctuaries and spend a lot of time in them. And they also like to spend a lot of time with family and friends and sort of adopt more of a caregiver role. So that's the main things I wrote down. Also that they really enjoy like spending time with a good meal with their family. So I just wanted this to be a nice entertaining space as well. It's pretty small because it is a tiny house. That's the whole concept of this build, or of this whole series. But I think it came out really cute. I situated it here by the beach in Brindleton Bay. So they're near water, but I didn't make it like water or aquatic themed. It just happens to be near the beach, as I wrote down that Cancers tend to like to be near the water. So I thought this was the perfect place to put it. I didn't really want to put it in like Sulani or something. I guess I could have put this build on the island in Windenburg, but I feel like I built there a lot. So I thought this was the perfect lot for it. The outside came together pretty quickly. I actually built the outside a few weeks back before we got the Book Nook kit, and I'm glad I waited to furnish it because the Book Nook kit was perfect for this build because I wanted to add books and like cozy interior pieces, and it was all about like relaxation and self-care and being at home and taking care of yourself. So I thought that the Book Nook kit was absolutely perfect for this build. Speaking of which, if you'd like to download it, it will be available on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find it under the hashtag Gryphi, and that info is in the description down below as well. So I ended up using these counter pieces, which are from Island Living. I thought they were exactly what I wanted. They're very sleek and minimal, modern, and this couch from high school years is so pretty. This love seat, definitely more of a boho vibe. I also wrote down that pastels were a big thing in addition to white. So I just played around with a variety of pastels. It ends up being mostly like greens, yellows, and blues. Those are just the ones that tended to work best for me when I was decorating this space, especially because I picked out this love seat pretty early on and I thought it looked great. So I wanted to keep that. So I just kind of blended everything else in around it. And I moved the door to the bathroom a couple of different times. I wrote down that I really wanted to have a tub with like a ledge on it. So you could have a shelf to go across the tub so you could like read a book, a cozy spot. So I didn't end up doing that. That's something you can do with Move Objects and like moving items around. But what I did end up doing is grabbing this shower tub combo from Growing Together that actually has one of those ledges in it that looks like it's, a tub shelf that you can move over. So I thought that was perfect. So that way we didn't have to worry about the functionality of it, but it still looked nice. And this is where I'm using the Book Nook kit. I kind of made a L-shaped bookcase over here with a couple of pieces of clutter on it. And I ended up putting a TV there as well, just because I like to add them in my builds. And I think it ends up looking so cozy in the end. I didn't add too much clutter to the bookshelf, but I got a couple of pieces. And I overall feel like this home came out really cute. But if you are a Cancer, you know a Cancer, you're familiar with the Zodiac signs, let me know how you think I did, because I feel like I'm always so unsure with these builds, but I have so much fun doing them. And even if they're not 100% accurate, it's just really fun to have that kind of prompt to come up with a different build for a very specific sim. So over here, I just wanted to add a meditation stool and a yoga mat, which I put outside for more like self-care and all of that. So that's what I put there. And the desk that I put over there is really meant for journaling. I don't think I put a computer on it. I might have. I feel like I always automatically do that, but I was meaning for it to be a journaling desk, which is why I picked a smaller one. And the first thing I plopped down on there was an open journal. There's also a functional journal option. I think it's the diary, or it might just be called a journal. It came with Parenthood. I didn't place that here, but that would be a nice way to actually utilize this space and have that functional that way. And I also made sure they had a cat. So we have a cat tree right next to their desk, which I think is really fun. And the litter box actually ends up being in the bedroom. There's not really a good spot for a litter box in any house, and definitely not in a tiny house. So that's where I ended up putting it. But if you don't want it to stink up your Sim's bedroom, you could probably move it outside. There's plenty of outdoor space. I just always feel bad if I'm like, you go outside to poo to a kitty cat. It just seems sad. But I guess it's fine. Like, dogs do it. But anyway, that's where I end up putting it. But I'm just getting some plants and candles and stuff on the bookcase, trying to make this like a very cozy space that the Sim can spend time in, as I was imagining a Sim who is a bit of a homebody and just wants to be home in their cozy space. and it's supposed to be sort of like a sanctuary for them. So that was the whole idea. I thought the curtains from the Desert Luxe kit were perfect. They have a beautiful green swatch that matches the blanket on the love seat that I chose, and then I'm just getting a fire alarm and temperature controls, as well as a little cat calendar because I can't help myself. And then this is where I started adding a couple more plants. I had to get this hanging plant in this window. It just kind of felt like this kitchen was calling for it, especially with how awkward the cabinets are in here. I also hung some pots over the stove and got our cutting boards that I love to add in most builds. And I think it came out really, really cute. It's a very small kitchen. It's just against one back wall. But I was really happy that I was able to fit a table and chairs in here because that's something that I often don't include in tiny homes because there's not enough space. And same thing with like a desk. I was able to get that and a pretty decently sized bathroom. I know this is a pretty typical size bathroom for most homes that I build anyway, but it's really big for a tiny house. For tiny houses, I usually do like 3-tile bathrooms, and this one's 6 tiles. So like we're living luxury in this tiny home. But I also, just decorated it with some like cozy decor. I wanted this to feel like a really relaxing space that the sim could unwind. That's sort of the whole theme of the entire house. And I think I achieved it. But like I said before, definitely let me know what you think. Just getting a rug in here as well. I got this one from Parenthood that has plants on it. And then in the bedroom, I really focused on that color of white in here. So I have the white bedspread and the white curtains, more in a boho style. It looks super cozy like the rest of the house. But I think it's a little calmer in here because of the lighter colors. And I did have a little bit of green on the walls in here as well, which I thought was quite nice. It's sort of a pastel-y, not entirely, but I was trying to lean that way, but I didn't want it to look too bright. I was really going for like cozy. So I thought bright pastels would be the wrong way to go, but I think this green works out pretty nicely here. I got this little basket of books on the bedside table. Once again, that is from the Book Nook kit. I just really think that was the perfect kit for this particular build. So I was happy that the timing worked out so nicely for that. And then we just got a closet over here as well as the kitty litter box. And that should be pretty much it for this room. I think we get another plant in the corner. And then we should be heading out back to decorate out there. Another thing I wanted to add for like the relaxation and like cozy self-care time and all of that and having like a sanctuary at home was a hot tub. So we're going to have a hot tub out back, which I thought was really fun. I like to include those in the builds or in builds in general because they're a nice item to have. Your Sims can really relax in there, but it's also a woohoo location. And we're Simmers. We love a good woohoo location. So I added that back here, and then I got a couple more planters. We also ended up getting a couple of lounge chairs. I just really wanted all of the relaxation you could possibly have. And I moved the yoga mat out. So it's not under that closed space anymore. It's out in the open, which I thought would be nicer, like standing out there, looking out at the beach, doing some peaceful, relaxing yoga routines. It just sounded really nice. And then I'm just getting some candles and incense over here by the hot tub. And we got this item, which I think acts as a light, but it's supposed to be like an outdoor heater to keep the space outside nice and warm. And then I got a little scratching post for our cats and another planter. And then we should be just finishing up some more landscaping, trying to make it all look kind of nestled here with all of these plants. I used basically just 3 different plants and duplicated them so many different times. And then I got a couple little rocks here leading off the lot so it looks like it doesn't abruptly end. And I have like more, those ones are more organic, and then the ones in the front of the house are way more structured. I have rectangular ones. But yeah, just playing around more with the landscaping, trying to make it look as natural as possible, even though, there's a lot more landscaping on this lot than the surrounding areas. But I still think it looks nice, just getting some more of these wildflowers, low-lying plants, and lavender all around. And making sure not to miss the sides of the build. I sometimes do that sometimes where like the front or the sides are all finished and then the back is empty. So for this build, it was the left side of the build. I wanted to make sure I didn't forget. And then I'm just going over some of the terrain paint to make it stand out a little bit, add some more sandy texture, some dirt texture, and some more pebbles. And then I realized I didn't add a mailbox. So I grabbed that real quick. We do have a trash can out front already. And then I got a little plant here and a wall sculpture. I think this one's from Perfect Patio. I don't use it very often, but I thought it looked really nice here. And I also just wanted to get a little table for our outdoor seating space. And I just added a little tray out there, and we should be heading on into screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so very much for watching. Enjoy those screenshots, and I will see you all soon. Bye, everyone.